past had you not thought he was very special. The issue is how do you come together, and that's no stranger to me. I've been doing it all my life. I got here putting things together. We've got to get it together.
The Dallas Cowboys certainly missed Dak Prescott this season, stumbling to a 6-10 record and finishing second to last in the NFC East, ahead of only the Philadelphia Eagles. You heard Jerry Jones recently comment saying Dak has all the leverage in his ongoing contract negotiations with the Cowboys. Max, should the Cowboys give Dak Prescott what he wants?
Not anything he wants. And let me say, Stephen A., the obvious, which is we're taking a hard turn here from very serious things about which passion is understandable to a trivial subject, which is what we do here, which is why it's so much fun. And we still get passionate about it. And if you're wondering, does it feel awkward to do with an attempted coup in the nation's capital yesterday? The answer is yes, it does. And yet that's our job, and we do it anyway.
You're right.
And I'm going to tell you my answer, and I do get excited about sports still. So in spite of that context, here we go.
I appreciate that.
The answer is no.
You were right to say it. You're right to say it.
The answer is no. The answer is no about Dak. You have to give him a good contract. Yes, you do if you want to retain him. There is a market for him, and you saw the value that he brings to the Cowboys. That value is the difference between missing the playoffs and certainly making the playoffs had they had Dak this year, but that's largely because the division is putrid. If you look at comps for Dak, about how good is he? Now, I like him the most at this point of the following three quarterbacks in his draft class. There was Jared Goff 1, Carson Wentz 2, and then Dak went in the fourth round. And for a minute, it looked like Wentz was just better than Dak. They were both really good, but he was better. And then, Goff gets to a Super Bowl. Maybe he's the guy you want. Because he could hit some highs and then also was consistent. And then Wentz fell apart and Goff was up and down and Dak just steadily improved. Better and better and better. And he was also not only a leader of the team, but a soldier in the organization. Because Stephen A., getting back to kind of social upheaval, when the Kaepernick issue was really center stage, Dak towed the company line as best he could. So he's both a great leader and a great soldier. And you would think that he would be rewarded for that. So he is in line for a big contract. But anything he wants, Stephen A., how's the Goff contract working out for the Rams? McVay won't even commit to Goff playing in the playoffs, even if he's healthy. I mean, how hard is it to say, look, if Goff is good, he's our guy. Wolford's playing so well, a guy who couldn't stay with the Jets, that he might get a start instead of Goff. Carson Wentz lost his job. He lost his job. He's not the starter in Philadelphia anymore. He may not start again on a permanent basis anywhere, on an ongoing basis. So those contracts were disasters. Does that mean Dak shouldn't get that contract? No, he should. And he should get a better contract than the one he was already offered. He has a little more leverage now than he did then. But Stephen A., I'll remind you, had Jerry handed Dak that contract, then he'd have gotten burnt immediately. Dak immediately got hurt. And is he actually worth that percentage of the cap? Unclear. So just give him whatever he wants? No.
Well, first of all, you and I respectfully disagree on this. Number one, if you're the Dallas Cowboys, you're a model of ineptitude. You're a moribund franchise as far as I'm concerned. All you're doing is stealing headlines. That's what you're experts at. You know what? It's scissor. You got the cheerleaders. You got the billion-dollar playpen known as Jerry World. You obviously got a strong fan base. You're worth about $5 billion according to Forbes. You are that dude from a business perspective if you are Jerry Jones and the star in the helmet and the star at midfield. Everything but winning football games you seem to be very, very good at as an organization. But when it comes to actually validating your stature as America's team, the bottom line is you're anything but, or maybe you are, because considering the way the state of affairs is existing in America right now, maybe we're mediocre, and that's why we need to get ourselves right rather than imitating somebody else like the Cowboys or the Cowboys imitating you, because the Cowboys are mediocre. It's just that simple. That's number one. Number two, when you talk about contracts, Max Kellerman, let's take this thing into its proper context, okay? You talk about Carson Wentz. How do you like that contract now? You talk about Jared Goff. How do you like that contract now? Well, Are the Saints complaining about Drew Brees' contract? No. Are the Packers complaining about Aaron Rodgers' contract? No. Are the Houston Texans complaining about Deshaun Watson's contract, even though they just finished 4-12? No. Is Kansas City complaining about Patrick Mahomes' contract? No. Just like you can give me guys who haven't lived up to the dollars, I can give you guys who have. And what I'm saying is, who am I going to bet my money on delivering? It's going to be Dak Prescott. Why? Because it's not just about what you're doing on the field. It's the leadership in the locker room, something that was flagrantly absent. Yes, they're the 28th ranked defensive team in the National Football League, giving up over 473 points. I think it's like an average of 29.5 points a game. They've got the second worst rushing defense in the National Football League. Those are putrid. Certainly, Dak Prescott can't help that but so much. But you know what? He could move the chains. You could be more fluid offensively. You, as a result, could be more productive offensively. That could either put pressure on opposing offenses or keep them off the field. Those things might assist in your run defense and your overall defense as well. Then we get to the leadership in the locker room, because wearing that uniform with the star on the helmet, maybe you can encourage CeeDee Lamb not to drop passes. Maybe you can sit up there and remind Michael Gallup, you're on this team as well. You can ball. Maybe Amari Cooper isn't sitting on the sidelines and he's in that game. And inside that, like maybe Ezekiel Elliott is running the football more effectively. He certainly usually did when he was on the field with Dak